Hello, my name is Chase, and if you haven't seen the first installment of these videos that I'm doing, you should probably watch it. It's about information for friends and family, just on general transness, and I wanted to touch upon other subjects that are important for family and friends that might not really understand what their loved one is going through or really understand what being trans is about. So I just wanted to make a couple informative videos for you guys, and this one is actually going to be talking about the importance of respecting pronouns and preferred name. So if your loved one has recently come out to you, first of all, that's absolutely amazing that they felt comfortable enough to come out to you. It takes a lot of courage, not really knowing if your loved ones are going to accept a very real fact that somebody's probably been struggling with for a very long time. So that's really great, and I want to thank you first of all for watching this video as well, because it's probably not easy on you, and I just want to put a face to what being trans is as somebody who's been transitioning for about 5 years now, and I've been on hormones for 4 years, and I've had top surgery, and I've basically gone through most of the things that I talk about in these videos. So let's just kind of talk about preferred name and pronoun, just like to really understand what we're talking about. So if somebody just came out to you and they haven't really told you much about the name that they might want to go by now, or if they have, that's really great. Having somebody that you love respect your chosen name is absolutely crucial in feeling good about yourself and feeling like people understand. Honestly, in the beginning of my transition, I would get mad at people who didn't respect my pronouns and my name. But now that I've gotten, a little bit older and I've been seeing all of this for the last 5 years, I do have maybe a little more insight. So I wanted to just talk about some things. It's okay at first if, as somebody who's, used to calling this person, this name. Let's say the person's name is, I don't know, Alice. And for 16 years, for 18 years, for 28 years, for 40 years, you've been calling them Alice. I mean, it's hard to just switch it like that in one day. And we completely understand that. But what matters is that we see that you try. Even if it's correcting yourself just a little bit. If you go from Alice, sorry, we see that you're trying, even if you're not comfortable calling the person Jeremy now, if that's their name that they chose. It's just the fact that you're hesitating a little bit. Just that little hesitation it makes us feel like you care. I know it might seem ridiculous and maybe something that you won't understand, and that's fine. It might take some time for you to understand, but it's just the fact that we see that you're trying actually makes us feel like you care. Because even if you think it's a phase or if it's not real, I mean, I'm gonna tell you it's probably real. It's real. It's happening. Being trans is really serious, and it's not something that we would just make up. It's not something we do for attention. So if the person is comfortable enough to tell you, please call me Jeremy. First of all, that takes guts. Because having, rejection from your parents or your loved ones or your friends, it's like the worst thing in the world. So if you are able to respect that and say, it's going to take me some time, I respect it, eventually I'll be able to do it, then it's fine. I think that's a step forward, and I think it's really important to be open in this relationship with your kid who or your friend who's trans. And I think it's being open doesn't sound like maybe the most ideal thing because you might not want to know about all of their feelings, but having an open relationship where you can discuss things related to being trans with your loved one is crucial in understanding things that you might have you might have some knowledge of because of the media that might not actually be accurate. Because I'm going to tell you that the portrayals of trans men in the media are not really that accurate. So, so take it from somebody who's lived through it and still living through it. Something crucial as well is respecting pronouns. I mean, who'd have thunk it that something as small as a 2-letter word could be so crucial invalidating our identity. And that might seem ridiculous, but that's just what it is, especially when you're starting to transition. If you get, ma'am and she all the time, and then you go home and your parents are starting to call you he, and eventually start calling you Jeremy, like, it's so much easier to deal with the real world if the people who love you have already started to try to understand and respect your pronouns. It's hard, and I'm not even going to pretend like it's easy, because I'm not a bull crap kind of person in your face. I'm going to tell you straight up, my dad's still struggling with it, and it's been 5 years. He corrects himself, and that's all I ask for, honestly. My dad and I have a very good relationship. We've always had a really great relationship. He was kind of confused in the beginning of my transition, but eventually accepted it. And he still gives me cards with my birth name on it, and then with my preferred name that is now my new legal name. And you know what? It takes some time for him, and I completely accept that. The fact that he's still trying, the fact that sometimes we're at a store and he says, "Oh, this is for my daughter," and I look at him really confused, like, "Yo, daddy, I have a beard." Like, you can't really say that in public anymore, but then he kind of corrects himself, and he's like, "Oh, sorry." It starts, just the fact that he cares, and honestly, that's all we ask for. And it sounds so stupid, and like, why do I even need to make a huge video, a long video at that, about a 2-letter word, he? You could never think that those 2 words would be probably one of the most crucial things in our transition, the beginning of our transition, especially with our loved ones. My friends took some time as well to get it adjusted to the he pronouns. And honestly, it was like overnight, after maybe like a year of not doing it after I told them. It was like overnight, everybody started doing it at the same time. It was like they had like a secret meeting and said, "We need to start doing this from today." And honestly, when they started using male pronouns, the validation of my identity and who I was incredible. And not everybody needs that validation, but for me, having somebody who loves me so much respect me enough, and because your friends are supposed to respect you, and finally seeing what I've been seeing my entire life, and seeing me as who I've been my entire life but not being able to, was probably one of the moments of my life I'll never forget. So I will definitely recommend that, even though it's hard for you in the beginning, and I completely understand, it would probably be hard for me in the beginning as well if I had known somebody, for 22 years, and they all of a sudden said, "Hey, can you go by female pronouns for me?" I would 100% respect it, and if I ever slipped up, I'd be like, "Oh, sorry." Eventually, you'll get into that routine, and you won't even think about it anymore. It gets really that easy. So I just really wanted to reiterate the fact that pronouns and preferred name are extremely important in somebody's beginning of their transition, and I want to thank you for watching this entire video. If you ever, as friends and family of a trans person who has recently come out, or who has some issues and you want to talk about them, I am going to be making like this informative video series on like topics of trans things for you guys. So these videos are for you, so you ask me what to talk about and maybe clear up some information for you, and I absolutely will do that. Like I said, message me if you have any questions, and I hope this helped you. Have a great week.